Oh boy, it's centered around a topic I did not want to talk about ever. But I am because it interfered with wrestling, which I've been a fan of since I was a kid. Might as well get this over with first, then yeah, this is gonna piss a lot of people off. I don't give a damn. All these anti-ice fools, they're just that. And at this point, they are traitors to their own country. And at this point, it's not just regular people. You got all these freaking celebrities virtue signaling and shit, all against ICE agents doing their freaking job of getting illegals out of here. I cannot stress that enough. And it's the one thing these people will never understand. Illegal immigrants have no right to be here. And before anyone says, this is stolen land, it is conquered land just like every other country on this freaking planet. It's unfortunate, but it happened. And Americans are on the freaking winning side, okay? This whole mess makes me even more grateful to be born American and to grow up through the late 90s and early 2000s. Grateful to be born here, not some third world shithole, not Africa. Look, I'll just say it, because Africa, long story short, is not united. It's still a mess over there. So I'm grateful not to be born there, not North Korea, not the Middle East, and not modern UK. Speaking of, all these anti-ICE fools, they want us to be like the UK. A huge mess over there to the point that their government protects these freaking criminals so damn much. Oh, and Canada, no better. It's just the freaking Demolition Man future over there. I am so grateful to not be born Canadian. So, there's all that. Those fools keep escalating shit. They want to inflict violence, and some tried. In fact, people that are going to say, oh, innocent people were hurt. No, it was people that tried to take the lives of federal agents. Like that woman Renee in Minnesota, and her wife said, drive, baby, drive. I'll play the audio. I doubt I can show that footage.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Whoa! And they weren't cooperating either. Thank God that ICE agent had his phone out. So that whole mess led to AEW show last week. The crowds were chanting F ICE. It was MJF versus Brody King. And MJF's expression, breaking the fourth wall, that was hilarious. Now on to Brody King. So for AEW this week, he wasn't there because of that. Just in case the crowd chants that again. The chants weren't his fault, but he wasn't helping, especially with these Abolish ICE t-shirts that he's been wearing since Grand Slam Mexico last year. I specifically remember that one because of MJF versus Mystico. And MJF brought back his American gear, his USA gear for that, and he's going to have to bring that back again. Now here's what I didn't know about that shirt. It's his. Profits from that shirt are being sent to charities and such, but that shirt is all him. Man, I'm really sick of people not keeping their political views to their goddamn selves. And another thing about this situation, the people above Tony Khan, WB and such, wait, scratch that, Netflix now, they're pissed. Brody not being on the show this week, that was not Tony Khan's call, that was a call from the dudes above. So Brody has put himself into some deep shit. There's certainly a chance of him getting fired over this. Then he can join freaking Mick Foley in the indie scene somewhere. In fact, first off, this reminds me of Ryan Pillman bringing a gun on TV. It wasn't a real gun, and this was before the Attitude Era, right before. It was in a feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, basically all like, if you come after me, you're getting popped. The networks were pissed, threatened to shut everything down, because remember, this was right before the Attitude Era. This is worse because people had to bring politics into it, including a wrestler in said promotion. And this screws up relations with the promotion and Netflix. It's gonna be a miracle if Brody King doesn't get fired. Instead gets written off TV and gets the Triple H curtain call punishment, where he's just not gonna get a big push for a while. Secondly, back to Mick Foley, it's been what, a couple of months since he left WWE? Over political bullshit and hypocritical. He wants to bring up Trump, but why the hell was he in the company like 20 plus years ago? Why didn't he leave then? Or why didn't he leave before WrestleMania 23? That's a very specific one I remember. That freaking hair match. But it was Lashley versus Umaga, and whoever lost, the guy they represented got their head shaved. Mick didn't whine then, or was he in TNA at the time? Nope, he was there in WWE that year of 2007 until 2008, September 2008. Then went to TNA just a few days after his contract expired. But Mick kept coming back to WWE. Clearly needed that WWE paycheck. And honestly, I'd rather see Brody King fired. Work with Mick Foley in the indie scene. They can easily do that. They'd have the fuel. I'd rather not see Brody King and Mick Foley working together in AEW. No, take that bullshit elsewhere. And all these famous folks gotta keep their political views to their goddamn selves. Just shut the fuck up instead of screwing up your image of whatever product y'all with. Like with John Leguizamo, apparently. I've heard this one going around a couple of times. Apparently, Leguizamo lost a huge deal. No doubt it was Ice Age because of his bullshit saying to everybody, if you support Ice, unfollow. Any famous folk that does that, say less. But if this is real, that's what he gets. If he shut his damn mouth, this apparently wouldn't have happened. And one more thing.
Even as we are a nation of immigrants, we're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%. And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security.
So where were y'all anti-ICE fools when Obama was deporting illegals? And Trump's deportation numbers are nowhere near Obama's, actually. Y'all did not complain when the president was one of your people. Y'all didn't riot and certainly didn't bring kids down to these quote-unquote protests just to use them as political shields when the president was one of your guys. And I almost forgot, look at the percentage of ICE agents and Border Patrol agents that are Latino and Hispanic. They got fatigued too. And I understand perfectly, illegals makes legal Hispanic and Latino citizens, especially Americans, look bad. Especially those that work their butts off to get here.